Well, Nintendo just had their investors meeting this morning, and you could pretty much predict everything that happened in it because it was pretty straightforward. Of course, some sales for certain games continuing strong. You can probably guess those games, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and also sales for consoles still declining. Of course, the Switch is showing its age, but also Nintendo kind of reconfirming something with Switch 2. Nothing new, just kind of telling us what to expect still. But yeah, let's dive into it. There's some new info. First off, we have the digital sales that shows us the games, DLC add-ons, all that stuff, and even online payments. Obviously in 2024, it's pretty low. It's as low as it was back in 2021 and even 2020, and it's obviously starting to decline slightly. What's interesting about this is it doesn't even show Q4 sales, which is the holiday season, and normally Nintendo really bangs out on that holiday season, and this is kind of the most important time for them. And it also shows why they didn't reveal Switch 2 yet, because obviously that holiday sales is one of the biggest things. So we're not going to see Switch 2 revealed until January the earliest, because they're not going to want to tarnish these holiday sales. It's one of their biggest points. As far as their net sales, they're obviously not struggling really. I mean, they're still doing pretty good since 2020, but yeah, they're still once again around that area of 2019 with sales where you can definitely tell it's coming down, especially from a big year they had last year. And obviously that was because of Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Wonder, and obviously Pikmin 4. And here's a net sales chart showing both software and hardware. And obviously software hasn't been that high this year. There really hasn't been too many banger games that released, obviously like they did in 2023. That's how you can tell why that year had such big software. And you can see the gaps too in which years had the bigger games. Every 2 or 3 years you have big games in those years. So it looks like we probably should be seeing that return next year. It makes sense when we have Metroid Prime 4 coming out next year, and also we're definitely expecting the Switch 2 at some point next year, even if it's just holiday season, and it's probably going to launch with either a big Mario Kart or a 3D Mario, so that's not a problem. We're going to see those sales kind of jump back up as well. But console sales are pretty stagnant right now. Like, generally speaking, they're still not doing as well as I think Nintendo wanted to. In fact, they actually changed their goals and decreased their goals, and I'll get into that in a second. Some information on year-to-year sales. Nintendo Switch has shipped 2.62 million units this quarter, which is down from 2.93 million units last year. Now over 146 million consoles to date, and Nintendo revised their hardware forecast down to 12.5 million units, down 1 million from their original forecast. That would be over 153 units by March 2025. The software forecast was also revised down to 160 million units, down 5 million from their initial forecast. So, yep, it seems like they aimed a little too high, and they're not selling as well as Nintendo thought they'd be around this time period. Now, here's a stat sheet that you were looking for. Obviously, let's look at the comparison of Q1 to Q2 of 2024 to Q1 to Q2 of 2025. Switch has sold 4.72 million units, which is down 31% year over year. Software selling 70 million, which is down 27% in sales. So overall, kind of stagnant and kind of decreasing still, which is what we expected, but still going strong, especially with Mario Kart selling 2.31 million units still. People, who's still buying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Like, I love it, but I hate it at the same time because I'm ready to move on. Like, seriously, who is still buying this game? I guess people buying Switches still, but it's like, it's crazy to me that like somehow the whole world doesn't have this game yet. Like, how come every single person in the world still doesn't have this game? It just feels like they do. Okay, moving on. Echoes of Wisdom sold actually very well. 2.58 million units in just 2 weeks is actually really, really good for the game. There just doesn't seem to be view interest online. I don't know why, but yeah, sales are good. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD with 1.57 million units, which is and Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door at almost 2 million units. I really wished it sold a little bit more. It did sell more than the original version on GameCube already, which is really good. I'm hoping this can squeak to 3 or even 4 million eventually. Hopefully those holiday sales help boost it a lot. I really want that game to do well because I want Nintendo to know that we really want to see more Paper Marios along that style. And then some words from Analyst. For instance, VGC reports Nintendo has lowered its Switch forecast after sales declined 31% year on year. With Nintendo Switch now in its 8th year since launch, unit sales of both hardware and software decreased significantly. Another analyst, Takahashi Mochizuki, reports out as expected, Nintendo posted another weak earnings. everyone's waiting for its next-gen console. And another well-known analyst, Dr. Serkin Toto, states Nintendo stock was down around -4% in regular trading today. Tokyo Stock Exchange closed 30 minutes ago for Tuesday and is currently down the same in aftermarket trading. He states, investors see no fuel in the tank until the company reveals the next device. And of course, we wondered if Nintendo would bring up Switch 2, and of course they did, because investors asked them about it. But Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa confirms no change in plans to announce Switch 2 by March 31st, 2025, and that they're still in the fiscal year and they will reveal the thing within the fiscal year. Well, nothing surprising there, is there? So yes, obviously Nintendo is down on sales. Hardware, software, overall sales, they're down. The Switch going into 8 years on the market, it's definitely showing its age. And it's not just the fact that it's showing its age just with its sales and the fact that it's declining. It's also just been showing its age since like 2019 with its games. So many games are running so horribly. Third party, even now first party games like we've just heard with Echoes of Wisdom and Mario & Luigi Brothership, which both have some really bad performance issues. It's just getting to the point now where it's ridiculous that we have to suffer this every new game that drops on this console. And the fact that it looks like we're getting even more Switch 1 games before Switch 2 comes out, just like the newly announced Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, it's really scary to see how much longer we're going to have to endure this wait. This is going to be the same issue we hear every single time a game releases, and with all the big holiday games this year, it's safe to say that Nintendo's forecast is still going to be relatively slow going. The Switch is not selling as much. Software is not selling as much. People are anticipating the next Switch. If you look at the comments of every single tweet Nintendo puts out, there are multiple tweets about where is Switch 2? Show us Switch 2. People don't care about the games that are coming out right now. They want to play on new hardware. They want the big releases. They want the next 3D Mario, the next Mario Kart. It's time to reveal this thing. And of course, it looks like we're going to have to wait until at least January of next year before we hear anything about the console. It does seem like Nintendo chose the route to carry Switch as far as they possibly can go, which I had a feeling they definitely would. Of course, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe still selling like crazy, thanks to you guys, Nintendo's going to push that game and the Nintendo Switch to its limits before even thinking about Switch 2. I just really hope it doesn't end up biting them in the butt because they waited way too long. You know, I like to think that's not the case, but man, maybe eventually people are like, I'm tired of waiting for this console that I keep hearing about. I'm just going to buy a PS5 Pro. Or I'm tired of, this terrible frame rate and, this terrible performance on every single game that releases. I'm just going to play on PC. I'm going to invest in a PC or an Xbox or a PS5 Pro. It's just real conversations. I've had a couple with some of my buddies who've actively been anticipating a Switch 2, and they just kind of given up by now. They're like, man, we've been hearing about this thing for 2 or 3 years now. This isn't coming. I'd rather just go out and buy me a PS5 Pro. It is unfortunate, and it is something that, is scary as well when you think about when this actual console is going to release, because yes, they might have an announcement of a reveal early next year. But man, when is this console going to actually come out then? Because you need a good amount of time to actually advertise the console and the games coming to it. So I'm not expecting the console to drop until at least the middle of next year, like summer or even late holiday, which is just miserable to even think about a wait like that. And I don't even know where Metroid Prime 4 is going to fit in there, because is it going to be Switch 1 game? Is it going to be a Switch 2 game? Is it going to be both? I'm afraid for it to be a Switch 1 game because of performance issues and just the fact that the Switch is showing its age and it might not hold up well with this game. I know Metroid Prime 1 did, thankfully, with that remaster, but who knows what they're planning for 4. It could be a lot more, I would expect it to be a lot more than what they did in Prime 1, so we're just going to have to wait and see. But personally, I'm a little worried about the future, but, I like to think Nintendo knows what they're doing, but they have waited a little too long in my opinion. But we're going to see how much longer they wait. We're going to have to actually just hope for January at this point, but Nintendo could go later. They could go February. They could even push it to March, which is just a scary thought altogether. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about this sales report from Nintendo's investors meeting. Does this worry you at all? Does this make you more upset that Nintendo hasn't revealed the console yet? Definitely let me know in the comments down below. Yes, also, Tingle video. I know you guys are waiting. For those of you that stayed around to the end of the video, here's a little bit of an update. Yes, it has been recorded. It has been filmed. and it's ready to be edited now. I just have to edit the video, and it's going to take me a little bit, so just hang on just a little while longer. It should be out very soon. Yes, I failed my bet, and I will pay the consequences. I already did. I just had to edit the video. But thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.